What on earth was that? At 40 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo still makes the entire world stand in awe, delivering a jaw-dropping volley, a strike so fierce, so precise, and so beautiful. It felt like time itself had never touched his legs. On a night when pressure weighed heavily on his shoulders and the threat of falling behind in the title race loomed large, things got even more tense as Al Nassr conceded a goal just before halftime. For a moment, silence swept through Al Park, but then, as it often does in moments of adversity, light broke through once again from the most familiar name of all. A combination play, a clinical finish, and just like that, everything changed. While all eyes were fixed on Ronaldo, Al Nassr had just endured a frustrating first half. Despite dominating possession, pushing high up the pitch, and pinning Al Riyadh back into their own box, Stefano Pioli's men lacked the final touch. Key passes were blocked. Shots couldn't find their way through the solid backline. The game drifted in that uneasy space. Dominance without reward is always a dangerous place to be. Then, just as the first half seemed to be closing in a stalemate, came the twist. In the 45th minute, out of nowhere, Al Riyadh struck on a rare counterattack, Faye Selemani putting them ahead. There was worry in the Al Nassr camp, but they had 45 minutes left. And when the pressure hit its peak, class rose to the surface. Minute 55, Sadio Mane broke down the left, combining swiftly with Brozovic before firing in a low cross across the 6-yard box. Cristiano Ronaldo had already moved before the ball even left Mane's foot, a perfect run. A textbook cut across the defense. And from there, all it took was a simple tap-in, but it was the timing. It always is with Ronaldo. 8 minutes later, Al Park erupted, a failed clearance from the Al Riyadh defense. The ball bounced out to the edge of the box, straight to Ronaldo, no hesitation. No adjustment. Just a first-time volley. The ball zipped, swerved, and roared toward the top corner out of the keeper's reach. Unstoppable, a world-class goal, not just for the technique, but for the moment it came in. Exactly when the team needed it most, his teammates rushed to embrace him. Ronaldo, as always, celebrated with his iconic Su. The match ended with a red card to Al Riyadh's Ahmed Asiri after lashing out at John Duran. Final score, Al Nassr 2, Al Riyadh 1. 2 goals, less than 10 minutes apart. But from two completely different worlds. One was so simple, anyone could have scored if they had perfect timing, the other, so complex that only a handful of players in the world could even dream of pulling it off. Both goals, however, underline what sets Ronaldo apart, his mind and his instinct. That equalizer in the 55th minute might not have seemed special at first glance, a routine play, Mane down the wing, a low cross into the box, but the key was how Ronaldo moved. No sprint, no need for physical duels, no flashy dribbling. He simply appeared where the ball was going, because that's what goalscorers born for the game do, while defenders stood watching. He slipped past them in a blink. A composed right-footed finish, not powerful, but surgical. It looked simple, effortless, but it was the result of 2 decades of instinct, awareness, and razor-sharp reflexes. But if the first goal was about refined instinct, then the second, minute 64, was nothing short of artistry. A one-touch volley from just outside the box, a technique that most players wouldn't even attempt without adjusting their stance, setting their feet, or maybe even pulling out if they weren't confident. But not Ronaldo. The ball bounced out following a sloppy clearance, and without letting it drop, he struck. First time, it wasn't just beautiful, it was surgically precise. The ball rocketed into the top right corner. The pace, the spin, the trajectory, it was perfect. So fast, you could barely see the ball before it hit the net. Some say it deserves to be a Puskas 2025 nominee, and they wouldn't be wrong. Pulling off a strike like that is tough at 30, at 40? It's practically unheard of, but Ronaldo is never the rule. He's the exception. This goal didn't come from a veteran clinging to former glory. It came from a player who's still writing new chapters at the very top with 2 goals. One, a masterclass in timing and efficiency. The other, a bold declaration that class is permanent. They both brought Al Nassr what mattered most, goals. But more than that, they reminded the world, no matter how many seasons pass, Cristiano Ronaldo can still do things only he can do. And every time he does, we all have to stop for a moment and ask ourselves, wait, is this a replay from his Real Madrid or Juventus days? No, this is the present. And the present still belongs to Ronaldo. It's not an exaggeration to say that this goal could easily be a contender for the 2025 Puskas Award. Pulling off a finish like that is tough when you're 30, and nearly unthinkable when you've passed 40. But Ronaldo? He's never followed the rules. He is the exception. With that goal, he proved once again that his physicality remains extraordinary. his spatial awareness, balance, and decisiveness all still intact, just like in his prime. That wasn't the shot of an aging veteran trying to hold on to time, that was the strike of a man who's never truly left the top. 2 goals. One, the distilled essence of years of experience. The other, a bold statement: class doesn't fade. Both brought what matters most in football, goals, but they also served as a reminder: no matter how many seasons pass, Cristiano Ronaldo can still do things only he can do, and every time he does, we have to glance at the clock, just to make sure we're not watching a throwback from the days of Man United, Real Madrid, or Juventus. No, this is now, and right now, still belongs to Ronaldo. Al Nassr's 2-1 win over Al Riyadh wasn't just about 3 points, it was a powerful response in the Saudi Pro League title race. With 57 points from 27 games, they've closed the gap to just 1 point behind second-place Al Hilal. The distance to leaders Al Ittihad remains at 8, not small, but not impossible with 7 rounds to go. More important than the math is the mindset, against a defensively disciplined and tactically sharp Al Riyadh side. Coming from behind in the second half, sparked by moments of pure magic, helped reignite the fire of a true title contender. And now, the schedule ahead will be a true test of their ambition. Al Nassr face a crucial away match at Al Qadsiya on April 18, a game many are calling the turning point before the final sprint of the season. If they can keep winning and capitalize on Al Hilal's dip in form, having drawn 2 matches in a row, then flipping the table becomes very real. In that context, the image of Ronaldo raising his arms after that volley wasn't just about celebration. It was a call to arms for the whole team. If the captain is still running strong, this ship isn't stopping. And it's hard to believe he's already 40, especially watching him play. He may no longer have the blistering pace that once pushed defenders back into their own box, but what he's gained is a model of simplicity and efficiency. In his last 5 matches across all competitions, he's scored 7 goals, a strike rate that many elite strikers at 25 would envy. What's more impressive is when those goals come, usually when the team is stuck, trailing, or in desperate need of a breakthrough, which means Ronaldo doesn't just score goals, he unlocks games. Even without the ball, his movement stretches defenses, opens spaces for Mane and Brozovic. When needed, he tracks back and presses like a young midfielder. His presence alone keeps defenders on high alert, and for his teammates, he's always the go-to man when the pressure rises. This isn't just the Ronaldo who scores, this is the Ronaldo who carries a system, who ignites belief in everyone around him. That's why the match against Al Riyadh felt like a short film, compact, but packed with everything that defines Ronaldo in the present. Not flashy, not loud, but always leaving the pitch with respect earned, never demanded. When the final whistle blew at Al Park, you could see relief on manager Stefano Pioli's face, and behind his eyes, a flicker of something deeper, renewed belief, not just because they beat a mid-table opponent, but because of how they did it, trailing, under pressure, then bouncing back, with a brace from the oldest player on the pitch. That's the kind of winning DNA Al Nassr had been missing at crucial moments this season. Now, they've found it again, and in the most emphatic way possible. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't need to be praised every time he scores. But whenever he does the impossible, even the doubters go silent, because in the end, football has always had room for the stories that defy logic, and a 40-year-old smashing a volley from outside the box, that's how Cristiano Ronaldo tells his story, in his own way.